Hello and welcome to IGN's TGA Post Show. I'm Daemon, that's Jada, that's Nick, and that's Alyek. But enough about us. Let's get right into it and talk about what we just saw tonight. Lots of big announcements to get to. We'll be talking about Witcher 4. We'll be talking about Elden Ring, Nightreign. We'll be talking about Borderlands 4 and so much more. But let's begin with the big surprise from towards the end of the show. This is the newest game from Naughty Dog. It's called Intergalactic, The Heretic Prophet.
I am so excited for this.
Yeah.
I love Naughty Dog as a studio. I love pretty much every game they've made. So, color me biased, but man, I am so excited for this game. Just everything you could see, there's little details from a bunch of other games. The main character, Jordan, you saw Ellie's tattoo on one of her arms. There's just so much Naughty Dog DNA just sprinkled into this trailer and little hidden bits. Like, I'm beyond hyped for this.
Yeah, it might not have been Half-Life 3, but, you shoot for the moon and even if you miss, you wind up among the stars, right? And I think that's what we did here with Intergalactic. Yeah. One thing that strikes me right away is just the kind of Outrun vaporwave atmosphere that it's kind of evoking. A lot of retro future technology. We see, a Porsche in space. Very cool. I think the protagonist is rocking Adidas. We got a make-believe anime that looks very good, and even like the video calling software that we're seeing, it just looks like an old vintage VHS, and I just love everything I'm seeing. And a PlayStation blog post went up just after the announcement, and it looks like our main character Jordan A. Munn is a bounty hunter, and she gets stranded on the planet I presumably we see at the end of the trailer chasing what looks like Kumail Nanjiani.
Yep,
so
that's her bounty.
Who knows if this is going to be a Metroid Prime situation, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah. I got a better look at the tattoo. It's actually like an octopus or a squid on there, not Ellie's tattoo.
I just absolutely love that the game just looks so real. The engine, everything is in engines. It just looks great. At first, I thought this looks like Cyberpunk. It's incredible. I cannot wait to see more gameplay of it and just the idea of going from the ship into the planet. I hope we get to see and experience a little bit of that when loading into the planet. I just can't wait to see more.
Yeah, we have a little bit more information from Sony now on the PlayStation blog. So this has been in development since 2020. Which makes sense since that's when The Last of Us Part 2 came out. So many years in development now. And our protagonist here, Jordan, she's stranded on an alien planet called Semperia. It's a distant planet whose communication with the outside universe went dark hundreds of years ago. In fact, anyone who's flown to it hoping to unravel its mysterious past was never heard from again. Jordan will have to use all her skills and wits if she hopes to be the first person in over 600 years to leave its orbit. So this is like a marooned, try to survive and try to escape sort of scenario.
I dig it.
Yeah.
And one thing, based on the track record that Naughty Dog's had in its recent releases, I'm looking at you, Uncharted, Lost Legacy, and even The Last of Us Part 2. We've seen them kind of ditch the more linear format that they've kind of adopted with the earlier Uncharted games, and it's more open hub style games, and I'm hoping that this game is going to kind of elevate them to the next level of potentially open world, where we're able to explore a fleshed out alien world with a lot of interesting things to see and do, because their past couple of games have really kind of set that precedent.
Interesting you mentioned aliens. We got to see, I think it was a bot on the planet. We didn't get to see any animals or monsters in there, so I wonder what kind of beings exist in the planet that she's exploring. And she had also a melee weapon. Looked pretty cool.
Yeah, like kind of a lightsaber-ish sort of thing.
Yeah, and she kind of charged it looked like an automatic pistol type thing when she was in her ship. And then obviously we see a transition over to the energy axe or whatever it is on the planet side.
The blog mentions some other castmates that we'll eventually meet. That's one of my biggest concerns, is because Naughty Dog is such a narrative-driven company, and their games are so narrative-driven. Being alone, stranded on a planet, kind of goes against what they're usually doing with a lot of the games.
Sure, but it just says that this planet stopped communicating hundreds of years ago. Sure. So there's probably other individuals there that she'll encounter, and yeah, something like that. Lots of branding in this trailer. You mentioned the Porsche that she's flying. The Sony is expected. They don't have to go anywhere to use the Sony brand. But then they also show that she's wearing Adidas shoes, and I just think it's an interesting choice because in a big reveal trailer like this, everything you see is very, very intentional, right? So there was some reason I think that they're showing that they have branding in this world.
But Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. So, I mean, a lot to unpack there with those very select words, but again, this is all just speculation. Yeah. There's a prophet, potentially a heretic. Who knows?
It's cool. Do you think any guesses on, in development for 4 years now? When are we going to play this game?
I'd say at best early 20 or late 2025, but I'm guessing like a spring 2026.
I'm saying spring 2026 as well.
2025 is packed right now. I would see it 2026.
Almost every game shown tonight was 2025.
Yeah.
But what does that mean for PlayStation in terms of 2025 releases, right?
Well, there's Ghosts of Yotei.
Ghosts of Yotei.
We've got, I'm sure we're going to see a lot more Helldivers support. We still have a couple things we're waiting to hear from other studios that haven't announced things that may be close to working on. Sony Santa Monica. I'm sure there's other things other studios have got in the works as well.
We also learned that the soundtrack for Intergalactic is being done by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. So it's going to be good.
Great fit.
It's going to be a great soundtrack.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this. It's been a long time. It's been 4 years since their Naughty Dog's last full game. I like pretty much everything they do. I like sci-fi settings, so I'm definitely on board with Intergalactic. And I'm glad they used restraint and did not go with the Beastie Boys Intergalactic in their trailer.
Right?
That would be all too easy.
Too spot on.
Yeah, too spot on. Well, let's talk about some other big announcements. Witcher 4. We talked about this in our pre-show. We were right. Got that one right.
Yep.
I am so excited for Witcher 4. I think we all are. I'm pretty sure I screamed a little bit when I saw it. I expected this game to be announced in the Game Awards. I'm just so happy that we actually got to see it, that we got confirmation that Ciri is the main protagonist, that she has fully become a Witcher. We even got to see her transformation in her eyes, like she got her cat eyes. I just cannot wait to see what this journey is gonna take on for her. It's a completely different character than Geralt.
Oh, 100%. We had also incredible work to Matt Purslow, who is our IGN UK correspondent, who actually went to CD Projekt Red and has a fully fleshed out kind of interview with CD Projekt Red diving into The Witcher 4. And one thing that they touch on, as you mentioned, she has the cat eyes. Following The Witcher 3, it looks like Ciri does undergo the Trial of the Grasses, which is the kind of ritual all will-be Witchers undergo. A lot of them die. She does not, apparently, and she has become now a Witcher. And one thing that stood out to me about the interview that Matt conducted was that that Ciri is a more impassioned person compared to Geralt. Geralt's a lot more logical, and she lets her, she wears her heart on her sleeve, it seems. And I'm really curious to see how that is a different authored experience from Geralt.
But letting your emotions control you is the path of the dark side.
Yeah, true.
Our chat is actually this is their biggest thing for the night. I've been polling our chat all night. I've put our final poll up between the biggest four, which was Intergalactic, Witcher 4, Elden Ring Nightreign, and Borderlands 4. And currently, as the votes stand, Witcher 4 is leading with 39% of the votes. So the chat seems like they're very happy for Witcher 4. They're excited to see it. I love that we're getting Ciri. I think she's going to be a fantastic protagonist. I just can't wait to see the different abilities and skills that she brings to the table.
And I don't think, for people who are sad that you're not going to play as Geralt, I believe at the end of the trailer we heard Geralt speak a little bit.
Geralt will be in the game.
Which
I imagine he's going to be a more Vesemir mentor, I'm looking on, but you do your own thing, Ciri. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and his voice actor had said recently that he was going to be in the game, but just not the main character, and then he had to walk that back a little bit. But
CD Projekt Red gave him a slap on the wrist.
I think it's pretty clear that Geralt's in the game in some capacity.
One thing that's cool too is in the trailer, it looks like Ciri's taking on a Kikimora, which is like an arachnid style enemy, which you've seen in The Witcher at some point. But The Witcher's so good at doing cinematic story scenes like this that are probably not even going to be in the game, but are probably super important to the story of the game. And one other thing that stood out to me about the trailer is right at the very start, it did say that this trailer was rendered using unidentified next-gen NVIDIA GTX graphics processor, which means everyone's wallets are going to be hurting because that's likely running on a 5090 or something, because I know Witcher 3 was marketed with the 2080, if I'm not mistaken, back when it came out. So this is going to make PCs cry all across the land, and I can't wait.
Yeah, it looks visually impressive. This is definitely UE5, so I'm expecting great quality out of this one.
I actually found some information on the monster that we got to see. His name is Bok, and he has the ability. Bob, maybe Bob Bach. He has the ability to smell your fear, to be able to play with your traumas, to paralyze you so that you can become easy prey and an easy meal. I wonder how that's going to play in the game, if there's going to be an interaction there with Ciri and her abilities. But it was so cool to see this monster in the game, and the way she actually defeats it too. She seems to use her unique Ciri abilities to be able to save herself.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to really set Ciri apart from Geralt is her magical abilities. Like, obviously, Geralt has access to weaker magic a la signs, but Ciri can straight up teleport and things like that. So I'm curious to see if there's going to be better traversal, because let's be real, as good as The Witcher 3 is, movement ain't among the top things that's great about that game. So I'm excited to see not only Ciri as a character, but also this is the first time CD Projekt Red's adopted UE5. I believe Cyberpunk and Witcher 3 were on Red Engine, which was their proprietary in-house engine. So curious to see how they acclimate to UE5 and see if it pays off in the long run.
Based on traversal, you didn't like Roach just running through the whole time you called him?
I don't like Geralt dying from a 5-foot drop whenever he jumps off of a little ledge.
Are we going to get a roach for Ciri?
We've got to.
Yeah.
Gotta get some
have to
sort of
get a
mount.
She's got to.
She needs her own mount.
Do you need a mount if you can teleport, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far can she teleport?
She teleports to, like, Night City for all we know.
Well, doesn't Geralt teleport too? He TPs from city to city.
True, but he
From
hates
Skellige
teleporting. He hates teleporting.
It was expected Ciri would be the protagonist. I was a little surprised that it's called The Witcher 4.
Same.
Just because it's been under codename Polaris all this time, and we know that it's starting a new trilogy, a new story. Geralt's story was ending, so I thought maybe it'd be like, The Witcher : Ciri's big adventure or something like that.
Yeah. It feels like it almost makes me think that Geralt is in the story in some way, still woven into this new saga, and that's why it's called Witcher 4. It's always been Ciri from the beginning, but Geralt is still woven in there. I was surprised by that too. I thought there was going to be a new name for this saga, but I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it all just means, unfortunately, I don't know anything, but he's definitely got to die at some point then, right?
Wow.
I mean, it's like a mentor to mentee style thing.
I mean,
it has to happen.
It does happen, and it is a very popular trope in a lot of stories in general.
And I know, I believe Andrzej Sapkowski, the author of the Witcher novels, I believe he actually just put out a new Witcher novel. I believe it just came out in Poland, but hasn't been localized here just yet. I was patrolling the Witcher 3 subreddit the other day because I got back into The Witcher.
Always a good time to get back into The Witcher. I missed the end of that trailer there. How did you interpret what happened to the maiden who was going to be sacrificed? Did she do herself in, or did someone from her village do that? Because she was supposed to be sacrificed to the monster, right? Yeah.
I kind of saw it as her father presumably being the one to do it because, like, a sense of politics.
That's messed up.
That is very messed
The
up.
Witcher is known for its kind of like Grimm's fairy tale style thing where, even though you might have done the heroic thing, people are just inherently awful.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of politics at play, whether they be tiny villages or giant castle cities. And I think that's very in line with what The Witcher is known for. It is dark fantasy for a reason. It's tough pills to swallow, the game.
To me, it felt like a message for Ciri, and like for her to learn that even though she was trying to save this girl, there are consequences to changing the way this village had, its practices. And she went in thinking that she could save this girl and to take down the monster, because that's what Witchers do. But that had a consequence, and the girl would have probably died either way.
Snaps all around.
Yeah,
It's a very good
I
piece.
agree.
Very good debut trailer. Okay, we have to take a quick break, but before that, let's take a look at the next installment in the Killing Floor franchise, Killing Floor 3. And when we return, we're going to check in with what you all thought of the Game Awards. So don't go anywhere.